everybody? What up, everybody? Let's talk about it. It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. Everybody, it's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is Fargo Season 2. All right, y'all, this is a highly requested video. Everybody wanted me to watch Fargo Season 2 because I just got finished watching 4, and we know that Satchel turns out to be Mike Milligan in Season 2. And you know, my mom been telling me to watch this show for a long time, and so I'm glad I finally got a chance to sit down and watch it. Season 2 was full of ups and downs. This is just a review, not a recap, so we're going to talk about some things, not every single thing, okay? I don't want to waste any time. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, y'all, what I discovered about the Coen brothers and their style of TV making is basically like they're going to give you some things that are going to happen. They're not going to explain every single thing that happens, which happens in a lot of TV shows that we watch. I watched interviews with them, and they basically said that TV today gives a lot of exposition. You know, we're used to having all the information, and they feel like things just happen sometimes. Life just happens. You know, the killer might not die in a dramatic way, or the villain might not die in a dramatic way. They might just trip over something and shoot themselves accidentally in the head, or they might have a heart attack, or, you know, things just happen. And it's kind of a joke on us because they throw in things like the aliens that came in Season 2 and the ghost that came in Season 4, because we, as viewers, we want to know why. You know, I will literally watch, I know a lot of us do that. You come to YouTube and you watch a video to try to explain or try to figure out what happened in the show and what does it mean, right, on a larger scale. And the joke is, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just there just to be there. Things happen. Absurd things happen, right? So with the title of a lot of these episodes, they are based after books that are written about absurdities or life being absurd. There's even a quote that Betsy gives, that the daughter gives, or the friend, or whoever she is that's watching Betsy. She's reading a French quote by a French writer that says that, you know, we all know we're going to die, then life is absurd. So, like, that's mentioned a lot of different times during this show. So we got a lot of connections between this season and definitely Season 1. Okay, Season 1 is a very far look in the future from Season 2. This takes place in 1979. I was not a twinkle in my daddy eye. I wasn't born until 1981. And we have Bokeem Woodbine, who plays Mike Milligan. We have Rye Gerhardt and the Gerhardt family. They are the crime syndicate in Minnesota/North Dakota. We have Ted Danson he played a state patrolman, right? He was on the state patrol. And then we had Lou, who is the police officer. We also have some involvement with, you know, the state patrol. More state patrol comes in. And we also have Ed and Peggy. And there's a lot of characters in this season, okay? So we have mainly two main storylines going on. One is that the Gerhardt family owns this or is over this crime syndicate, and we see that Kansas City is expanding. Now, if we jump back to Season 4, that's in the past. They said they was trying to do a nationwide expansion, you remember? So now they're expanding into North Dakota, and we have Mike Milligan and Joey Bulow and the crew. They come up there and they try to offer them some money to take over their organization in essence, right? Now, the Gerhardt family has Mama Gerhardt. We have the sons, Dono and another son, and then you have the youngest son named Rye, who is kind of like the runt of the family. And he's a business partner with this guy who wants to open a typewriter store. So what happens is, the guy tells him, listen, I need you to extort this judge and get her to unfreeze my funds so that I can open up this store, because we about to sell, you know, typewriters on typewriters on typewriters. We all know that business is conditional, just like Blockbuster, bitch. You was going to make a little bit of money, but it wasn't going to last a long time. But he needed to have his money so he can get this product in so he can open the store. So Ryan is like, no problem, bro. I got you. So they go up there. I mean, he follows the judge to a diner, a Waffle Hut or something like that, far out in North Dakota. They cross the state line, and she's eating there. And, you know, he thought he had ran into a punk, but, you know, he ain't know he had ran into a real one, okay? So he tells her, listen, I'm going to need for you to unfreeze my homeboy money, or it's going to be some consequences and repercussions. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she hit him with the, you know what I'm saying? The mace. He panics. The person comes out the back. He shoot the cook. He shoot everybody in the damn diner child. He shoot every damn body, okay? The waitress gets away. He goes after her. He shoot her. And just as he's, trying to get away from the crime scene, he looks up and there's a UFO in the sky. And so this is the absurdity that they're throwing in, a UFO, right? So he sees the UFO, and while he's not paying attention, also the driver of the car wasn't paying attention. He gets struck by a vehicle. He ends up at Peggy and Ed's house. Now, Peggy is played by Kirsten Dunst, and a lot of y'all said that y'all would love for me to review her character. Baby, Peggy was living in white woman, like Earth 2, like she was not here with us. Peggy was in a whole nother world. Peggy was trying to live her best life. You notice that Fargo does this a lot. They take us on a journey with one of the characters, or one of the main characters being somebody who is dissatisfied with their life. Somebody who is not content. The first season, it was Larry, and this season, it was Peggy. So Peggy is trying to go to this self-actualization retreat that she wants to go to, and she wants to spend some money. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, Ed finds the body in the garage, and they end up killing Rye, putting him in the freezer, and eventually grinding him up in the meat grinder at the butcher place where Ed works. And Ed's trying to buy the butcher place. He's just trying to have a family, And Peggy is just like, he dead. What you want me to do? Like, I really thought, like, if she had just called the police when she hit him, she probably wouldn't have got in trouble because he was already a robber and a murderer. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm sure she would have gotten a little bit of trouble, but it wouldn't have been as much trouble as they ended in. So, they inadvertently started a war when they did this, okay? So, back to the Gerhardts. Now, we got Otto Gerhardt. I remember him. He's the pappy, okay? He's in charge, and he's talking at the table, and he have a stroke. So now he's incapacitated, and mama take over. Even though some want to take over, he kind of going behind her, and trying to take over. But she taking over. She's considering the offer that they're going to give, right? But once she finds out that Rye is dead or Rye is missing, he's gone, she like, no offer. It's about to be war. Like I said, Mike Milligan, and we go through several different things. Joey Bulow ends up getting killed. His head get brought to Mike Milligan. Mike Milligan and them shoot up the house. I'm assuming this is for Joey Bulow. They shoot up the house as retribution. And, they basically wipe out the whole family, okay? So we have the Indian character who is also in season 1, or the Native American character, because I hate when people say Indian. The Native American character, right? So we have him, and he ends up, in the first season, he is the guy who was the head of the organization. Now he just has had face surgery, okay? So we see him kind of coming to a self-actualization as the story goes on, because at the beginning, he's just a henchman. He's just doing Mama Gerhardt and, they business, and died. I think that was his name, died Gerhardt, not Dot Doodle, or whatever I call that man, died. He just kind of doing their bidding. He's a henchman. He works for them. But as he starts to discover and put together who killed Rye, he figures out that it's Ed, because he matches some glass that he found from the headlight. And he breaks into their house and finds the clothes that they had burned. He finds the belt buckle. After he put 2 and 2 together, he tell the mama. And like I said, they try to kill Ed. They done ran up in the butcher shop. Butcher shop end up getting burnt down. The police end up finding out. We got Lou and them. They end up finding out what happened. They putting the pressure on Peggy. It's like, we got to get the fuck out of here, okay? Like, we just take our shit and go. And Ed's like,
No, we're not gonna go. No, we're not gonna go anywhere.
We're gonna stay like Ed. Come on, Ed. Now, let me tell you something. I knew Peggy ass was gonna make it. I knew Ed wasn't gonna make it from jump. I said, Ed ain't gonna make it to the end. I can see that already. But Peggy gonna make it. Because Peggy is on Earth 2. And she gonna come up with something positive out of every negative situation, okay? Gang shoot up the place. Going back to the gang. They shoot up the place. It's war, baby. Right. So, the 7, 8, 9, we get caught up in a lot of different things because Peggy and Ed decide to run. They run away. And somebody try to kill Mike Milligan. They trying to take him out. Mike Milligan killed all the people. They slashing throats. He got one person with him. They slashing throats, all of that, right? So, they end up on the 9th episode. They all at this hotel. Now, what happens is, right before that, Peggy and Ed were in a cabin in the woods, and Dot finds them because she thought she had killed him, or at least, hurt him real bad. I guess she didn't kill him because they don't never really try to kill nobody, actually. Peggy and Ed, they don't actually kill anybody, which is kind of funny. She shocked him with a shocker. So he wakes up, and then he comes into the room where they are, and he's like hanging Ed from a rafter in the ceiling. He beat her up, and she's finds a way to beat him up and knock him over the head. She stabbed him in the foot, right? And so then the Native American guy comes in at the last minute, and you think that he's going to kill everybody, but he ends up killing Dodd. He kind of turns his back on him. The man is calling him a mongrel and all kind of stuff. I ain't like that. Apparently he didn't either, because she shot him dead in the head. He told Peggy to cut his hair because he was tired of this life. Okay, and as she goes to cut his hair, the police come in, and he gets away. So now the Native American character is ready. He wants to kill Peggy and Ed, because I guess he feels like, they had it in a narration. It was something like they saw his true self. They saw him for a moment, or maybe it was just because they were the only people who had saw him kill, died, and all of that kind of stuff. So Native American man says he sets up the Gerhardt family. He double crosses them. He says Mike Milligan and Dodd are at this motel. He's been watching the police officers. The police officers have set up a sting. They're going to send Ed and Peggy in with the wire on to meet Mike Milligan, and they're going to catch Mike Milligan. This is their plan. So they all set up at the hotel. Now the Native American man is watching them, and he tells the Gerhardt family, hey, they have Dodd and they have this and that and the other at the hotel. So we need to run up on there and kill everybody. So he's in effect double crossing them, because Mike Milligan and them wasn't there. Okay, at least not at that time. So what happens is the showdown, the massacre at Sioux Falls. So the Gerhardt family comes down, and not to mention early in the season, what's his name? One of the other sons, the son, I think he's like, he need a 504 plan, IEP. So, him. He tries to kill Ed too. That's who tried to kill Ed and burn down the thing. And they came up to the police station with guns, and a lawyer had kind of calmed that situation down, and the Gerhardt family ended up leaving. So this time the Gerhardt family was like, we finna bust a head. We some head busters this time. We finna bust heads, okay? So they roll up to the hotel, bust in there, start shooting people, slitting throats, shooting everybody. Then they're killing everybody.
They shoot in.
Like Milligan then pull up. They like, hey, oh shit, let me go ahead and go. Okay, so they get in the car and roll out. And then right as one of the children is trying to kill Lou, the helicopter, not the helicopter, child, what are they? The UFOs, they come down and they kind of distract them. So Lou gets a chance to hit the man. And Lou gets a chance to kill the man. And so then we see Ted Danson had got shot, the state trooper, he got shot. And they both end up living. And the other guy was one other guy, cop, that ended up living, because Peggy and them, like I said, Peggy don't really kill nobody. They just knocked somebody over the head. They knocked them over the head and they got out of there. Peggy and Ed, they run away. And the Native American man is chasing them with the gun, and we think they're gonna kill him. And so in Peggy's mind, she imagines him like chasing them into a place, and they lock themselves in the freezer. And at this moment, I knew that Ed was not gonna make it. And so she's still like,
hon, we're gonna be okay,
I had a coworker from Minnesota. I used to do that all the time. Hey, how you doing? Stay in the freezer, right? And she's saying, like, we're gonna make it out of here. I seen the movie, you know what I mean? And this what happened in the movie, and the smoke started coming through the ventilator, and she's like, he's trying to smoke us out.
He's trying to smoke us out just like in the movie.
And so, like, she's imagining all this, y'all. The police bust in and they rescue them, but by the time they rescue them, Ed is dead to the floor, honey. He is dead. Dead. Native American, he leaves. I wish I knew his name, y'all. Don't crucify me, because I ain't learned these people's names like that. Okay, so he gets away. He goes to meet with this guy. He gets a new passport, a new ID, and he tells him, I need a face man. I need somebody to do my whole face. And we know that, like I said, in the first season, he ends up being the character that is over the gang or over the whole organization in the first season. So he has got a whole facial reconstruction. He's like fat. He looks totally different. And they give it to you because he says a line about, it's not about empires, it's not about this, it's about kill or be killed. That's it, and that's all, right? And he goes to rescue some kids who are getting bullied, which consequently end up being one of the henchmen, because one of the boys is deaf. And so he ends up being a henchman for them in the first season. They're adults, and there's a scene where they're in a diner and they're talking to each other in sign language. So we see that he rescued the guy. He became one of his soldiers, right? So And then at the beginning of the first season, that character that is the leader of the organization, he gives that same line about kill or be killed, and that's it, and that's all. See that Peggy and Lou, he taking her to jail, and she's like, you think I can serve my time in California? And he was like, I mean, we're gonna see what we can do. And she was like, I heard they have a jail that looks out over the bay, That'd be nice. And then she gives this speech about, how hard it is to be a woman. Like, I felt Peggy. You know what I'm saying? I felt her, sis. Like, girl, I felt you, sis. But at the same time, that's not an excuse to hit people and just keep driving to the house, bitch, and make dinner. Like, you can't. Like, girl, I'm going to need for you not to be killing people and then going home and make hamburger helper and tater tots, bitch. I can't do it with Peggy, honey. Peggy had me dying, That was cute. And I also thought it was interesting how her friend Constance had a crush on her. Y'all seen them two flowers that was in the room? They was facing each other. Flowers. You feel what I'm trying to say? I was like, oh, Constance had a little thing. She ended up as collateral damage. I was like, damn, they strangled Constance, damn. And the other girl, the daughter of Mama Gerhardt, the one daughter they had, she ended up getting shot too. I was like, child, it was just a whole bunch of dead people, just dead. Everybody was just dead, child. Like, I don't get attached to no characters on Fargo because anybody could get it. Like, at any moment, somebody could die, period. Overall, I thought this season, I know I probably missed some things. Oh, Mike Milligan, he ends up going back to wherever he came from, Kansas City. And, the people are very impressed with him. He think they're going to throw a parade for him because he did go back to the Gerhardt house. They done shot everybody up, everybody dead. So, he thought he was going to take over and, he let the maid stay and, gave us some money and shit. And then somebody else came and they was trying to steal something. And how you going to try to steal something and then be racist? This man got a shotgun to your face and you going to still say some racist stuff, like some low-key racist stuff. His ass got shot, okay, and that was a wrap for him. So Mike Milligan goes back to Kansas City and he's like, I'm the man. You know what I'm saying? I'm the man. Like, give me my flowers. Hello, somebody. But they was like, you know what you are? We got a team that's going to do that little small stuff on the street. Like, you ain't got to be busting heads no more, baby. We're going to put you in this office right here. And what now? We need you to work on the figures. We need you to work on revenue and, profit share and this, that, and the other. The new game is money. So, basically, I felt like Mike Milligan was entering his own stage of hell. Like, you did all this head busting and you ended up in a damn cubicle. Now, how that feel? So, overall, I thought the season was very good. It took me a couple of days to watch it because Fargo is kind of slow. It's slow moving. I be like skipping through some of the scenes because they do a lot of gazing and, a lot of things, like I said, happen for no reason. And you be like, because like when a UFO came down, Ed was looking like, oh shit. And Peggy was like,
it's just a UFO. We got a hole, honey.
And so I thought that was cool. But it's interesting, like I said, the Coen brothers have this thing about not explaining to you every single thing that happens. So I appreciate the fact that we're left to like figure out some things on our own. We're left to like just ponder about like why this and why that could have happened and why did they show this and that and the other. So I thought it was pretty cool. Like I said, Peggy's little speech at the end about being a woman and never being enough, like you can't have no career and have kids and do this and it's not enough hours in a day and yada, 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 yada. I was like, I feel you, girl, but you just can't be busting people with the car engines and just going home, baby. That's not how it works. So, like I said, overall, I thought it was a great season. I want to hear what your thoughts are. If you have not checked out season 2 of Fargo, you should check that out, all right? I will holler at you next time. Peace.